Oh my gosh, you guys. Get ready, because this is a story that's going to take you on a roller coaster of emotions. Let's talk about family, the ties that bind us, the people who shape us, and the shared experiences that define us. Messy, beautiful, and sometimes totally wild. Because let's be honest, no family is perfect, and it's often in the imperfections that we find the most love and laughter. Growing up near Hollywood, where dreams are made and stories are larger than life, the stories get even wilder. The line between reality and fiction blurs, and everyday life can feel like a movie scene. My own family has its tales, its own unique blend of quirks and traditions, but today's story? It's a real-life movie, full of twists, turns, and unexpected revelations. A secret baby, hidden away from the spotlight, a famous mom, living her life in the public eye, and a hilarious case of mistaken identity. A mix-up so unbelievable it could only happen in Hollywood. Imagine being adopted, starting your life with one family, and told your birth mother is a big Hollywood star, the kind of star whose name is known around the world. Who would you dream about? What fantasies would fill your head? That's exactly what happened to Brandy Brown, a young woman with a burning question about her origins. She grew up with this mystery at the center of her life, a constant question mark hanging over her identity, a puzzle she was determined to solve. Piece by piece, she began to unravel the truth. The answer she found? One of the funniest, most charming mix-ups ever. A story that proves truth is often stranger and funnier than fiction. This story is about finding your way home, about the search for belonging and connection, even when you don't know where home is. It's about the journey, not just the destination. It's about two incredible women whose lives were destined to intertwine in the most unexpected way. A lot of love, the kind of love that transcends blood and circumstance, and a little Hollywood magic. Because in Hollywood, anything is possible. But this isn't a fairy tale. This isn't some made-up story for the silver screen. It's real. It's raw. It's honest. And it's incredibly moving. A mother and daughter, connected by fate, separated by circumstance, by choices made long ago, connected by an unbreakable bond. A bond that time and distance could never truly erase. The universe had a plan, a grand design that was unfolding all along, even when they couldn't see it. Even when doubt and confusion clouded their path. Today, we dive into one of the most heartwarming stories to come out of Hollywood. A story that will restore your faith in the power of family. It's about Roseanne Barr, the iconic comedian who broke barriers and challenged conventions, and her long-lost daughter, Brandy. A daughter she never knew she had. Their journey is a lesson in love, in the enduring power of a mother's love, forgiveness, the ability to let go of the past and embrace the future, and the beautiful chaos of family. Because even in the midst of the mess, there's always love to be found. Let's get into it. You won't want to miss this one. Trust me, this is a story you'll be talking about for days. Let's talk about Roseanne Barr, a name synonymous with laughter, controversy, and a refreshingly honest take on American life. We're about to delve into the life of a woman who broke barriers and challenged conventions, both on and off the screen. You know her from her iconic sitcom, Roseanne, a show that redefined family television. It wasn't just another sitcom, it was a cultural phenomenon. A groundbreaking show about a real working-class family struggling with everyday problems that many families could relate to. It was a far cry from the idealized families often portrayed on television. Roseanne's character was loud, hilarious, and fiercely protective. She was a force of nature, a mother bear who would do anything for her kids. She brought honesty to TV that people craved, a refreshing dose of reality in a world of carefully crafted narratives. It was television that felt like real life. But before the fame, before the millions of viewers and the iconic status, Roseanne was just a kid in Salt Lake City, Utah, a place far removed from the glitz and glamour of Hollywood. Growing up in a Jewish family, navigating the complexities of faith and identity in a predominantly Mormon community. Life wasn't always easy. There were challenges and hardships that tested her resilience from a young age. But her sharp wit and unique perspective, her ability to find humor in the face of adversity, would later fuel her comedy, providing the raw material for her groundbreaking stand-up and sitcom success. She started stand-up in Colorado, honing her craft in small clubs and bars, calling herself the domestic goddess, a moniker that perfectly captured her comedic persona. Turning motherhood and housework into comedy gold, finding the funny in the mundane and the frustrating. Her raw, honest humor resonated with millions, who were tired of the polished and often unrealistic portrayals of women in comedy, especially women who finally felt seen, their experiences and struggles reflected on stage and screen. That honesty defines her, on stage, on TV, and in life. She never shied away from speaking her mind, even when it was controversial. But there's a story from before the fame, a chapter of her life that's often overlooked. A deeply personal chapter that shaped everything, influencing her perspective and informing her comedy. It's about a difficult choice made with love, a decision that would forever alter the course of her life. A baby girl she had to let go of, a heartbreaking sacrifice made for the well-being of her child, but never forgot. The memory of that child remained a constant presence in her life. This is where our incredible journey begins, as we uncover the untold story behind the laughter and the fame. Behind every celebrity, behind the carefully constructed public image, is a real person with a real story, filled with triumphs, struggles, and moments of profound humanity. Roseanne's story is about sacrifice, the ultimate act of love and selflessness, hope, the unwavering belief in a brighter future, even in the face of adversity, and the promise of reunion, the enduring power of family bonds, and the possibility of healing. And it's the heart of today's story, a story of resilience, love, and the enduring human spirit. Let's go back to a time of rotary phones and bell-bottom jeans. Roseanne, just 17, a young woman on the cusp of adulthood, found herself pregnant, facing a reality far beyond her years. The news landed like a thunderclap, changing the trajectory of her life in an instant. Being a teenager is hard enough, navigating the complexities of friendships, school, and first loves. But this was life-changing, a fork in the road that demanded a decision no young woman should have to make alone. It was a moment that would define her future. She lived in a home for unwed mothers, a sanctuary of sorts, surrounded by others in the same situation, each carrying their own burden of hope and uncertainty. They shared stories, fears, and dreams for the future. She knew she couldn't provide the life her baby deserved, the stability, the opportunities, the unwavering support, not out of lack of love, a love that burned fiercely within her, but because she wanted more for her child than she could offer at that time. It was a heartbreaking realization. Placing her baby for adoption was the hardest thing she'd ever done, a decision etched in tears and sacrifice, a choice born from selfless love, a testament to the depth of a mother's heart. It was an act of profound generosity. She held her baby girl Brandy close to her heart, memorizing every tiny detail, and made a silent promise, a promise whispered through tears, that they'd find each other again someday, no matter the distance or the years that might pass. After the adoption, Roseanne moved forward, carrying the weight of her decision, building a career, brick by brick, finding solace and strength in her work, a family, creating a new chapter in her life, filled with love and laughter, but always carrying that memory, the memory of Brandy, tucked away in a special corner of her heart. She honored the closed adoption, respecting Brandy's new life, her privacy, and the agreement she had made, but never gave up on her promise, the silent vow she made to her baby girl. That secret became a silent chapter in her story, a poignant reminder of the sacrifices we make for love. Roseanne's sacrifice was a mother's act of hope, a beacon in the darkness. She believed, deep down, that love would bring them back together, that the bond between a mother and daughter could transcend time and circumstance. The pain was real, a constant ache in her heart, but so was the hope, a flickering flame that refused to be extinguished. And that hope would shape both their lives, guiding them on their individual journeys until destiny intervened. Meanwhile, Brandy Brown grew up in Denver with a loving family. She always knew she was adopted, and her parents told her what little they knew. Her birth mother was a famous Jewish woman from Hollywood. For a young girl, that clue was electrifying, a real-life mystery. Brandy and her friends would watch TV, guessing which star might be her mom. Every famous Jewish actress became a candidate. This rumor shaped her daydreams and sense of self. It turned a painful void into a source of wonder. She wasn't just adopted, she was connected to Hollywood, or so she imagined. The mystery became a big part of her identity. It was a spark of magic in her otherwise normal life. And the search, even if just in her mind, was always on. With that one clue, famous Jewish Hollywood star Brandy and her friends became detectives. Their top suspect? Goldie Hawn. She was bubbly, iconic, and seemed like the perfect dream mom. Brandy truly believed it for a while, watching Goldie's movies and searching for similarities. She built a whole fantasy around it, a comforting story to fill in the blanks. Meanwhile, her real birth mother, Roseanne Barr, was just becoming a household name. The timelines overlapped in a twist of fate. Brandy was dreaming of Goldie while Roseanne was on TV, unknowingly in Brandy's orbit. It's a classic case of comedic irony, the truth hiding in plain sight. This Goldie Hawn chapter is pure, funny, and so human. If you're going to imagine a secret mom, Goldie's a pretty great pick. The truth didn't come from a detective. It came from TV. As a teen, Brandy's friend watched Roseanne's sitcom and suddenly said, "I know who your mom is. It's Roseanne Barr." At first, Brandy was skeptical. Her heart was set on Goldie Hawn, but Roseanne fit the clue, a famous Jewish woman from Hollywood. The idea started to make sense, and the Goldie theory faded. When Brandy turned 18, she could finally access her adoption records. She hired someone to help, and the answer came. Her birth mother was Roseanne Barr. The friend had been right all along. Imagine that moment. Years of wondering, and the answer is someone you've seen on TV a million times. Shock, disbelief, excitement, all at once. The mystery was solved. Now came the scariest step. Would they ever meet? The sitcom moment had become real life, and the next chapter was about to begin. With the truth out, Brandy decided to reach out. Not directly, but through a tabloid, knowing it would reach Roseanne. It worked. Soon, a reunion was set at a hotel, nearly 2 decades in the making. Both were nervous. Brandy was meeting the woman who gave her life, Roseanne, the baby she'd said goodbye to. Roseanne has said seeing Brandy was like looking at her own family, a reflection of her other children. The most mystical part? Roseanne had promised baby Brandy they'd meet again at 18. And it happened, almost to the day. It felt like the universe conspired to fulfill that promise. Their first meeting wasn't just a hello, it was the start of a real relationship. They spent hours talking, catching up on a lifetime of missed moments. Brandy met her siblings and her world expanded. The hole once filled with mystery was now filled with real connection. A family, finally reunited. Building a relationship from scratch isn't easy, but Roseanne and Brandy had a secret weapon: humor. Brandy told Roseanne she'd thought Goldie Hawn was her mom. Roseanne found it hilarious. Laughter broke the tension and created an instant bond. Their story is a blend of serious and silly, adoption, separation, and identity, mixed with Hollywood mix-ups. Laughing together helped them heal. Brandy fit seamlessly into the family, connecting with her siblings and discovering shared traits. It wasn't forced. It felt right, like a missing puzzle piece. Their journey was about sharing stories, filling in the gaps, and understanding each other. For Brandy, it was about seeing the love behind her mother's difficult choice. For Roseanne, it was about seeing the wonderful woman her daughter had become. Roseanne and Brandy's story is about more than a celebrity reunion. It's about what family really means. Family isn't always conventional. It's about bonds that endure across time and distance. Their story redefines family and identity. For Brandy, finding Roseanne solved a mystery and gave her a new sense of self. Seeing her features and humor reflected in her birth family gave her roots and belonging. Forgiveness is at the heart of their story. No anger, just gratitude and empathy. They chose to focus on love and build a future together. Life's twists are unpredictable, but sometimes the universe writes a script better than any sitcom. Who would have thought a secret kept for 18 years would end in such a funny, heartwarming reunion? Keep your heart open. Sometimes the best family stories are the ones you never saw coming.